What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. And for this video, we're going to be jumping into Batman the Detective, issue number 2. Now, if you didn't catch issue number 1, go ahead and check out the link on my description, as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you caught up on everything that's been going on in this awesome line. Now, this is written by Tom Taylor. Pencils are Andy Kubert, and inks are Sandra Hope. Now, before we dive into this, I wanted to let you guys know I am quite a few issues behind. I still have like 3 or 4 more comics to put out, but I am going to give you guys this one and one other comic for today. I've been spending some time with my daughter, so I don't really have a tremendous amount of time to jump on the computer and start recording. But I promise you, this weekend we're going to get it all caught up. We'll get some indie comics in here as well. We have some Geiger, probably some more Once and Future, possibly even the Resistance. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so issue number 2, it picks us up in London, at the Big Ben. And we see a man dangling over the rooftop. A man who is a member of Equilibrium. Now, Equilibrium, they're kind of like a terrorist organization that's been dressing up as Batman and undoing everyone he has ever saved. And by undoing, I mean they're killing them. And so one by one, these guys are slowly erasing every good deed that Batman has ever done. Now coming to London to track them down. And so we pick up with Batman dangling a man by the name of Matthew Sprague at the top of Big Ben. Now Batman, he's trying to get information, as much information about the leader of Equilibrium as he can. But at the end of the day, this guy, he's just a henchman. And the leader, she always wears a mask, and she pays good money, so they don't really ask those kind of questions. Now, as Batman is sitting here interrogating this man, this guy is struggling. He's struggling a lot, and Batman tells him to stop, because eventually this rope is gonna break if he doesn't stop struggling. But this only makes the man panic more, and we see the rope break, and he goes plunging down to the ground, only for Batman to whip out his grappling hook and save the man at the last minute. And Batman lets the man run off. And this is when we see that Batman is accompanied by Squire. And Squire is a little bit confused, because from Squire's perspective, Batman is letting this guy get away. But really, this guy is getting tracked. Batman planted a tracker in him so that he would be led back to the location of where the Equilibrium is holding up right now inside of London. Now Squire, she believes doing all of this was a little bit theatrical, a little bit elaborate, to just plant a tracker on the guy and get him running. But Squire is also only 14 years old. And this is where we see the two. They head off in a Batmobile that Batman has stored away in London. And we learn a little bit about Squire. We learn that, she doesn't really have parents, and that the foster parents she did have, they were either abusive or they were negligent. One of the two. And Knight ended up taking her in and helping her become who she is today. And Batman is a little confused on it, like, why her? Why pick this individual to be Squire? But the Knight chose her specifically because she's talented, and she was hurting. And Batman, he knows there's more to this story. And we see him here with Knight in an underground hospital. A hospital that Batman knows about because he's been brought here before. He's had to visit this hospital on multiple occasions. This is a hospital that doesn't ask questions, and they patch you up quick. And so on more than one occasion, Batman has visited this place. He's been beat up, he's had to visit London for some reason, and ends up having some kind of issues. And he was showed this place by somebody he trusts, or used to trust. Now this is where we pick up at the headquarters of Equilibrium, and we see our guy Matthew, the one who escaped Batman, escaped with a tracker planted inside of him. And they're sitting here wondering, like, how he got away from Batman, like how he escaped Batman. Like, no, there's no way you escaped Batman. And Matthew tells him, it wasn't easy. He almost died because of it. If Batman hadn't caught him, he would have died. And this is where the leader commands all of her little minions to strip him down to absolutely nothing. And he swears that this isn't necessary because he showered, he changed clothes before he came over here, and there was no tracker planted on him. But this is when she does an x-ray scan of his body. Doing the x-ray scan, she sees a little bat symbol implanted in his chest. And she informs him that there's a tracker planted inside of him. And so immediately she tells everybody to scrub the site and move to site B. We're packing up and we're moving within the next 3 minutes. Now Matthew, sitting here naked, is asking if he can have his clothes back so he can help out, but he's informed that he's not going with them. And this is when one of the lieutenants, he asked Matthew, you said you almost died. You also said that Batman saved you. This means that you shouldn't exist. And this is where he pulls out a pistol and shoots Matthew dead on the spot. That's their whole thing. Anybody that Batman has saved, they're killing without any mercy. Now this is where we pick up with Bruce Wayne on a train making his way towards Paris. Because the tracker, that's where the location it really was last pinging. And it hasn't moved in about 20 minutes. Which means he's either sleeping or the man is dead. Now this is where Bruce Wayne, he hears something. He hears feet on the train roof. Now he usually wouldn't risk out of costume, but he hears and he smells something that he hasn't smelt in at least 10 years. This man, he could have masked the smell, but he didn't want to. He's playing with Bruce Wayne. Now Bruce, he doesn't like games, but Henry Ducard, he does. And that's who we see as Batman walks into this cart. Now Ducard goes to call him Batman, greeting him, but Bruce Wayne, he runs over to him and hushes his mouth. Now, and this is where Ducard lets him know, you need to chill out, dude. I made sure that we're alone. I made sure that no one can hear us, but people can see us. And if they see two people roughing each other up in here, they might go get somebody, and that'll cause a whole other situation. Now, Ducard, he's a criminal. He's also the greatest manhunter alive. He's the one who taught Batman how to hunt people. Now, Ducard lets us know that he's been following Bruce Wayne since yesterday. He really figured that he would be in England, especially after that plane went down and someone signed his name at the scene. But he also lets him know that there are more murders than he knows about. And he's been quietly putting together a dossier over the last few weeks. There's groups of people killing the people that he saved. And as soon as the media finds out about this connection, there's going to be pandemonium. There's going to be panic, and everybody who's ever been saved by the Batman is going to be terrified. Now, Ducard, he really does want to help Batman in this situation, but Batman doesn't want his help. At the end of the day, this guy's a criminal, and Batman doesn't like working with criminals, especially if he doesn't have to. And Ducard lets him know, man, Bruce Wayne, he's a great manhunter, but he is not the best. Ducard claims that he is the best, and then he's gonna need his help. That's the reason he's not the best, is because he never takes help. He always thinks that he has to go in and do this alone. At one point in time, they saved London together. And Batman also turned him in right after it happened. And this is when we hear the conductor say that they are arriving in Paris. And Ducard lets him know, if you change your mind, come find me. But he doesn't give a location. He wants to make Batman search for him. Now, before Batman can go looking for him, he's got business to take care of. And this is when he goes to find Matthew, the man he planted the tracker in. And arriving at Matthew's body, there's a post-it on Matthew's body that says Batman -1. Signifying that it's just another one down, another individual that Batman saved that they have now taken off the board. Now this place, it's been scrubbed clean, everything except this. This was just a message, a call sign if you will, letting them know that they're not scared, that they're going to continue to do this one by one. And this is where Batman decides that it's time to call this in, and also it's time to hunt down Ducard. But really, he's not that hard to find. He booked a penthouse suite, and he got a hold of Bruce Wayne's credit card somehow. So finding him, that's not going to be difficult, not in the slightest bit. The only issue is, Batman isn't the first one there. And this is where we see the leader of Equilibrium showing up behind Ducard, as well as her lieutenants, and a few of her other henchmen. Now the leader, she lets Ducard know that he's been digging too much. He's gone too deep. Not only that, but he was once saved by Batman, which means he should not exist in their opinion, and they they have come to be the executioners. And this is where Ducard tells her that she's always been a bit unstable and he knows what happened, and this isn't going to change it. And this is where she puts a gun to his head and says that it's about equilibrium. And in a flash, we see him quickly grab some of their guns, turn the guns on them, and he starts blasting away, getting shot in a good number of them until they finally grapple him and push him over to the edge. As he's sitting here at the edge, this is where we see the arrival of Batman. And Ducard, he tells him, you know, you're not gonna escape Batman. Like, he doesn't let anything go. But they're gonna play the oldest trick in the book. They know that Batman is going to try to save Ducard, no matter what, at all costs. And so what we see them do is fill him full of bullets and then drop him from the building. Because Batman is always predictable. He always saves them, no matter what. And this is where we see Batman swoop in and grab Ducard's body before it falls to the ground. And this is where we see Batman holding his body as he slowly bleeds out under the streetlights of Paris. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Personally, I'm really enjoying this line. You know, people may not be entirely thrilled with him leaving Gotham City, but I really enjoy him in this new environment and giving an opportunity for a fresh story away from Gotham and introducing us to a whole new organization that is fully vindicated on taking out everything good Batman has ever done. And the motivation, it seems extremely personal. So I have to say, Tom Taylor, you know, he did amazing writing. The pencils, the artwork, it's really fun in this. I really enjoyed it a lot. And I am really excited to see how this 6-issue miniseries comes to a close. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you haven't yet, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell so you're not missing any of the other content we have coming out. And until the next breakdown.